You are listening to the Old School Movement podcast with Daz, Chris and Steve. You understand?
So ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's another episode of the Old School Movements podcast, and we've got a special for you today. As you know, we always go back to the 80s, but we're going deep in the 80s now. So all of you 80s kids who love to watch TV, rushed home to watch TV, you had your Danger Mouse, you had your Why Don't You, you had all these programs, but this one program was bigger than all of it. I think it was before Record Breakers. It was Grange Hill, guys, man. You guys remember Grange Hill, right?
You gotta love Grange Hill.
Wicked.
Grange Hill.
Best thing on television back then.
We've got a cast member from Grange Hill, you know, and this guy was in it from 86, 89. You had Tucker, you had Zamo. Of course, after that, you had Ziggy, man. We've got George Wilson on the show today, ladies and gentlemen.
Ziggy Greaves.
It's an honour and a pleasure, gentlemen.
Great to have you on.
Well, mate, amazing having you on, man. You're part of our childhood.
It's been wicked.
Grange Hill, man. Like, I can't believe I'm chatting to someone from Grange Hill. This is, I'm made up, mate. I'm made up, George. I'm chatting to someone from Grange Hill. What's all this about? Love it.
How did you end up from Liverpudlian? How did you end up in a London school drama?
Yeah, good question. A lot of people ask me that. What it is this is what I heard, if it's true, but it sounds about right. The ratings in the north went down, apparently. All up north, Liverpool, Manchester, Newcastle, wherever.
Yeah.
They went down, so they needed to replace it with a northern character. They needed a northern character to get that ratings back in the north. So it was either going to be a Liverpudlian, a Mancunian, a Geordie, whatever.
Someone with an accent. Yeah.
Some up north accent.
You can imagine the BBC saying that, innit?
Yeah. We need a northerner for the ratings. To boost the ratings, we need a northerner.
Yeah, anyone but a Cockney.
Yeah, so, we got too many of them.
So I just happened to come along with the audition at the right time and the right place, and my face fitted, and next thing I'm swanned off to London, you know.
Wow,
nice.
Really good.
It was all a bit of a whirlwind. It happened so fast. I was only 15. I really didn't expect to get the part because the audition was in Manchester and it was full of like Mancunians, obviously, and in a hall. And I just thought, there was too many of them. There must have been about 1,000 kids, and I just thought this is going to be impossible. But I persevered and went through the stages, and they were knocking people back and back. And before I knew it, there was just me and one kid left. And they couldn't even put me out of my misery that day. I had to wait till the next day. For Redmond, who was the creator, to pick who he wanted, me or this other kid. He was from Leeds. And unfortunately for him, he didn't get it. But fortunately for me, I got it.
Well, we all know Scousers have the personality. Come on. If you got Scousers against a Mancunian, the Scousers going to win. The Scousers have the personality. They got the... You know what I mean?
I had the edge a little bit on him because Phil Redmond was a Scouser, wasn't he?
I was going to say that.
Right.
I was just about to say that.
I think he was always going to go with another Scouser, you know. And I think I reminded him. I reminded him a bit of himself as well, you know, because the long darn hair and all that.
Yeah. He probably knew that from the start, but he had to drag it out and pretend that there was other people and there was a competition. But he knew it was you all along.
Left you hanging a day before he told you.
Made you wait.
What a break at 15, man. What a break at 15. So did you come from an acting school to get into like them? You just went to a normal school like everyone else?
Just a normal comprehensive school, called West Derby Comp. And there was a few of us that were from normal schools. Not everyone was from a stage school. The likes of John Alfred. Little John Alfred was from a North London school, you know, and John Drummond, who played Trevor. There was a good few of us that were from comps, and we kind of stuck together, you know.
I imagine you being like Ziggy at school. Were you like that? Was it an easy role to sort of just transition into, or was a lot of that, I'm going to say acting, but you know, you having to put on a part, and I can imagine you just being like Ziggy.
Yeah, I was similar. Yeah, especially when it got into like the money making things. He started. He was like a bit of a Del Boyish type.
Yeah.
In the end, he became that. There was not just me, but there was the character Robbie and Gonji ended up joining us as well.
Yeah,
and,
it was a good crew. It was a good crew, you guys.
Constantly doing money making things, and I was like that in school as well. In my comps, I was always like, I had little raffles going or selling sweets, usual thing. I'd always try and make a buck, So it was. I had that in common.
It doesn't matter where you are in the country; it's all the same.
Yeah, it's always hustlers in school, man. Always
hustling at school. Yeah.
Getting your hustling on.
Man, get that extra bit of lunch money. You know what I mean? You get an extra donut or something. You got to hustle, man. That's what school life's about.
10p donuts, isn't it?
So how did the move to London happen? Was the whole family uplifted to London, or were you just brought down and stayed, like acted during the week and went home, or how did that sort of work? And how daunting was that at the age of 15?
Yeah, it worked out. No, just me. Just I went down on my own. I lived at first with a family in East London, and I couldn't settle. I lasted about a month, and it got to a point where I thought, sod this, I'm going home, because I just didn't get on with them, and they were very strict. I thought, this is not me, and I thought, sod Grange Hill, it's not worth this upset. I was going to come home, and very fortunately, there was a chaperone who worked on the show, very laid-back guy from South London, who heard that I was having problems, and he approached me and said, look, come back, meet my wife and my daughter, and if you like her, if you like the house and your family, you're welcome. There's a room there for you. This was in Brixton. So I went back to Brixton that night, and Jeff, his name was, lovely guy. No, he sadly passed away about 10 years ago, but anyway, went back, met his family, and within 5 minutes, I knew this is the place. They were just so lovely and warm. And I like Bob Dylan, because my mum always played Bob Dylan to me. He was playing on the record, on the record player when I walked in. I just thought, that's a nice touch,
Yeah, nice welcome.
Homely already.
Exactly.
So we just hit it off from the start, and then I ended up with them for 4 years. And I used to come home every fortnight to visit my family, so I'd still see my family and my pals.
So it's thanks to him you stayed in it a bit, really.
Yeah.
If he didn't have you'd have gone back up to Liverpool.
Yeah, he was like an angel come down that day.
The Brixton Angel come to rescue you. Oh, wicked. So who was your Grange Hill best buddies on screen?
There was two, really. There was John Drummond, who played Trevor, the big ginger guy.
Yeah, we like Trevor. He was good at it.
Trev, yeah, he has got to be probably the funniest person I know. If I feel a little bit down, or I'll ring him, and I know he'll have me laughing, like he did last night. He rang me last night, because Illy got to find out last night I lost my dog, and he rang me last night, and it's serious at first, but within half an hour he has me laughing, and
that's nice.
You need people like that around you.
Yeah,
him and John Alford are the two closest to me, and we still keep in touch. And if I ever go to London, I'll make a point of visiting if I can the two, but if not, definitely one of them.
Yeah. So did you hit off straight away when you met them on set on Grange Hill?
Not John Alford, no.
Who's this northerner on set now?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, I can't repeat what he said.
You can.
You scared. You can imagine the rest. And we ended up having a scrap, to be honest, within the first week. In the first week, it was got that, it's like he didn't like me and I didn't like him, and we went for a walk, and behind we were it was quite funny because we were filming, and we went off for a walk, and we had this scrap. He won, I'll be honest. He was a tough little bugger, like, but I'm covered in grass, my hair and me. There's no mud on me, and I've had to walk back to the set, and he's with me, but he kept. It was a good. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Cool and Luke, with Paul Newman. there's a fight scene with Paul Newman and this big guy, and the big guy keeps knocking him down and down, and he keeps getting up and up. And that's kind of what was happening. John kept knocking me down. But I kept getting back up, trying, and in the end, he was worn out. I was worn out. I wouldn't let him win. I just couldn't. I just kept trying to try again. And in the end, he just said, "Look, Scares, you've had enough, son." And he, come on, and he hugged me. And from that moment on, we've never had a disagreement. You know,
wow.
What a cool story.
Right. That's a proper 80s fight. They even have that in 80s films, just like 48 Hours. All these films had punch-ups and they're best buddies for life. It's like, but you actually done it in real life.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what we had to do to become friends, you know, him to kill me.
Have a punch-up. North versus South. North versus South punch-up.
I'd love to say I give him a good go, but he was just too powerful, you know.
At least you're honest, mate.
The thing is, you never gave up.
Exactly.
That's the key thing. You never gave up.
And he respected that, you know. He actually respected the fact that I had a good go with him, you know.
Yeah. Chris, what was that story we was talking about with one of the teachers in Grange Hill?
Mr. Bronson. What was he like off camera? Because on camera he seemed, you know, one of the not very nice, the worst teacher. But we all had a teacher like that, and the reason I like him is because he's in one of my favourite all-time film deaths. You know, up against Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back. He's been in some fantastic films, man. Really good actor.
Yeah.
Michael Sheard.
Yeah, he was in Indiana Jones as well, wasn't he?
Indiana Jones. Yeah, amazing actor. What was it like to work with him? Like you a Star Wars fan? Did you chat to him about the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, I loved the guys. Some of the geekier members of the cast were constantly asking him about it, you know. And I was aware of he was in it as well. But you see, the thing with Michael Sheard with me, I'll tell you a true story. I was quite late now and again, quite a fair bit. I was terrible, only for the simple reason. I moved to from Brixton then to a place called Mitcham. And to get to L Street was like playing
mission.
It's like playing train automobiles, you know. It's like
people don't realise how long a journey
that's almost a day trip.
That's a day trip, man.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you mistimed it slightly, if you missed a tube or a bus or a train to L Street, and then you got to walk to the studio, which was 20 minutes. So it was a bit of a nightmare trek.
I'd have been late at the time.
Yeah, I was a bit late, I must admit. And one day I came in and he had such a go at me in front of everybody. And honestly, I felt about that big and I couldn't argue with him because he was right. Yeah.
And he's too commanding a figure as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what, did he have a go at you in character almost, or was he himself just...
Himself, but he was even more frightening as himself.
Oh my God.
Right. You thought Bronson was scary. He played that character. He could be him, or you know what I mean. And he had a real go at me. And from that moment on, I steered clear of him a little bit. The lads used to play poker with him all the time, and I kept away. I just kept me bay a bit with him. But a good thing happened, right? Many years later, when I finished Grange Hill, every job I ever got since, I've been punctual. I've left earlier, and I've made sure not had a problem in a film, in any film, Brookside, never late, nothing. Because I emailed him. I got his email address, and I told him, I said, Michael, it's George here. I just want to say thank you for having a go at me that day at work, because I was late that time. Because I have never been late since. I've always kept my punctuality, and it's down to you. So thank you very much for screaming at me, basically. He emailed back and said, George, I am so pleased to hear this. I am so glad that I had done something of use in my life or something like that. I wish you all the best. So good to hear, Michael. And then he passed away about a month later. So I'm kind of so glad I got that.
You got to talk to him. Yeah.
It was. I was just relieved that I got that to say that to him.
Yeah. Were you on time the next day though at Grange Hill after that?
I think I was for about a month or two, and then next day. Luckily, he wasn't in that day, you know.
So it wasn't an immediate effect. It worked after a while.
Yeah.
So another quick thing on the set of Grange Hill, I remember going there once years ago as a delivery driver. But what did you have around it? There was I'm sure you're right. Weren't you right next to Albert Square? And there was Albert Square, then Grange Hill, and
Yeah. We shared the same studios.
Casualty was filmed on it as well, and
even Doctor Who was getting filmed there one time. I remember I thought it was tripping. That was
This Dalek's coming towards you.
Yeah, it was all sad, and then wandering around. I said to my outfit, "What the hell is all this?" Did you spike me last night or something? You know?
What were we drinking last night? Yeah.
Just say no, innit?
Yeah. It was like it's real when they filmed a bit of Doctor Who, but EastEnders was filmed there, and some of the cast were great. You know,
so you'd bump into a lot of the other actors there.
Yeah, we shared the dining area. You know, a few of them didn't appreciate some of us because of the noise. We kind of were very noisy, you know, and shouting up and down.
Eating your bangers and mash and putting them out in people's faces. Yeah,
Dot, isn't it? I know it's Dot. Dot likes to complain about noise a lot. Yeah.
Well, they complain that much. I mean, it's a bit naughty, but on my last day, me and Drummond, we went to where the EastEnders studio is. Yeah, I got a permanent marker and wrote above the green room, EastEnders is shit. I left them with that, you know.
I wonder if it's still there. I like that.
So I guess you're not a fan of the programme then.
I don't know if you've ever known who've done it, you know, but if they ever see this, they'll know, you know what I mean? If it was me. I couldn't care less now, you know. They can know.
So when you left Grange Hill, that was in 89, right?
89, wasn't it? Yeah.
Just before, it was just the end of 88, December 88, so more or less 89,
Yeah. So did you try and have a pop career like your old mate John Alford then? Did you try and go that route with Stock Aitken and Waterman or anything?
No one approached me, so I couldn't go down that avenue. But I didn't even sing on the single, the Just Say No thing. There was a Liverpool derby that day, and
much more important.
I can't tell you.
You just said no. I'm going to watch Liverpool.
Yeah.
Mate, respect for that.
I said I'll be in the video. So I mime in the video. That video is not actually me singing. It's actually
It's shot afterwards.
Yeah, Sam Jones who sings, but I mime to his voice. Yeah. So I don't even sing on that, you know.
Oh, that's
so with Grange Hill having characters such as you had Tucker and you had Zamo, and then you were coming in next. Did you feel any pressure to be that big character, knowing that how successful they were?
Yeah, there was some shoes to fill because I knew Tucker had carried it for years, and then you'd have like the Stew Pots and the Pogos, and then the Zamos, and then I kind of come in on the tail of Zamo. Really, he was doing it when I came in, and I didn't feel any pressure. My main thing was just to get through learning them scripts and getting them, getting it done. I didn't care whether I was going to be popular or whatever. I didn't think about that. I just done it. On the first series, we just done it. And it was only then, as a second season I done on the third, that the character I realised was becoming more popular because of the fan mail that was coming in. That's how we kind of,
Oh, that's cool.
Me and John were getting, at the time, and the guy who played Ant Jones as well, because he was a good-looking guy, Us three were, I think, with the top three males who were getting the fan letters. And you just kind of know then when you go out, people are coming up and shaking your hand, and you're getting welcomed into nightclubs.
You were getting good stories as well. Yeah, everyone remembers the one with the glass fibre down the Melder's jumper or down her top.
Oh yeah, that was very early on. Yeah,
everyone remembers that one.
yeah. But apparently, you see, the problem with that is with Grange Hill, he'd done things like that, but there was always copycat incidents.
Yeah.
It was known for it. Yeah.
People were trying to find fiberglass to do that in their schools, you know.
Yeah.
And there was another team
took it too far.
Yeah, it always had that problem.
Grange Hill was one of them programs. Like, it was always your parents were like, don't want you watching it. Don't watch it. So it made you want to watch it to see why they're telling you don't watch it. But
yeah, and
I think it was because there was all these copycat things that could go on. But
yeah,
I loved it.
Teachers complained as well because they were saying kids were getting ideas to do things in the school as well, and so there was. It was even brought up in the House of Commons.
I think I remember that.
At some point as well, early on, about it, you know, because it was really, they tried to go as far as they could, and it was really
pregnancies and stuff early on. I remember when the early years they tackled and racism was a big thing with Dripper, you know, all that was shown, what goes on, what people like to not think about.
Yeah.
They were showing what goes on, you know.
It was needed. I think, man. It was good for kids to see, you know.
Yeah, but it spoke to a new generation. It spoke to us on a level that we would understand. So
yeah, that's it. Well, before that, there was nothing. You see, there was no school program or even a children's program that would even go near them subjects.
Exactly.
There was even a scene where the kid in the early ones gets molested. You know, and Tucker saves him, or Tucker saves him. This is a young, like 11-year-old kid, and you see the guy grab him, and it's quite, you know, it's heavy duty. And they got, not saying they got away with it, but they're showing it, and it was but that kids watching that would make them
aware of the dangers. Exactly.
That's the thing. You have to make kids aware of the dangers because sometimes the parents aren't able to tell them.
Yeah,
school don't.
Yeah, exactly. So Grange Hill's there for that reason, I think.
Yeah,
well, drugs, you know, all of those things. It just brings awareness. You think, wow, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So then you know, if someone, you're going home from school and the dude goes, "Hey, kid, you want some sweets?" Nah, I've seen that on Grange Hill, and then you can, you know, it's important.
That's it. That's what it done. It just, you know, don't walk across them commons on your own. You know, go with a big gangie or whatever. You know, or just don't go at all. It was showing you things like that. It's just little things put in your mind, you know, kids' minds. That nothing else would go near previous. And that's what it was good for. And that's why it the more complaints it got, the better it was for the BBC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. More publicity.
You knew they were getting it right.
Yeah. Did you have a favourite episode?
When I was in it, or before?
When you was in it, or before? Just in general.
I loved the episode with Zamo and Jonah when they swim with the seals. Oh no, it's just Jonah. Someone throws the bag into the seal compound in the zoo, and Jonah goes in to get his bag. And it's just so cheeky. I mean, I don't know how many kids copied that one.
I bet there was a few.
Oh wow! No, it was a classic program.
I love that one.
I've got to look back at that.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Like I say, it did tackle some tough subjects back then.
Yeah, it was. It went for went for the jugular. But on a personal note, for myself, there was one episode for me I loved, and it wasn't like a major episode, but it was just a laugh we had doing it. It was a scene where there was me, John Alford, the old caretaker, Mr. Griffiths, and two other guys, Mauler and Ted, are stuck in the school at night, and we're trying to find this intruder. We think it's a phantom or a ghost, you know. But we're walking around the school at night, and we did film it at night. And it took about 2 or 3 nights to do it. And it's just quite, it builds up until the end, the crescendo, you know, and there's this thing comes out from nowhere, and we all run like hell. I just laugh watching that, you know. I really enjoyed doing that. As it progresses, we ad-libbed so many things that me and a few of the guys like John Alford, John Drummond, mainly us three, we'd slip things in all the time. And sometimes the directors would go, "What the fuck? What? That's got nothing to do with anything." So it was like 6 o'clock, and he couldn't do another take, you know. So
you gotta let know what those bits are, so when we watch it back, we can.
Yeah. So when you've been watching it back, have you seen the ones that you've been doing? Have you seen? Oh yeah, I remember I said that. I wasn't supposed to.
Not yet. I'll come to them. We don't do it first. It was only when we all become pals we start doing it.
Right. You got comfortable. You got on time and comfortable and took the piss.
Yeah. You knew when to do it. You knew kind of when to do it. Yeah. And you had to time it right. And if sometimes you do to put the other one off, I'd say something to put one of the other Johns off, or they'd say something to me. Yeah. And you've got to try not to laugh then, obviously, if the camera's on you, you know. So much of that.
That's what friends are for.
There's a scene, and how we got away with this, I'll never know. Yeah. There's a scene on the canals in Coventry here, where we're on the canal, and there's a scene where Mr. Kennedy comes in, and he goes, "Right, guys, I've had enough now. You've got to go to sleep, right?" And he goes, okay. And then someone said something like, "It's a good job he didn't look in this bed." And then as it pans out the camera, all you hear, but you don't see who does it. All you hear is, but it echoes to the next scene. It's like, and I just don't know how we got away with it.
They must have liked it before we keep that in.
So when you left Grange Hill, did you go straight into Brookside from that?
Oh no, it took a good 7 years. No, in fact, I come out of Grange Hill in 88, 89, and then I went in Brookside in 92 for about 4 episodes.
Yeah, it didn't seem shortly after you came into it, I thought.
Yeah, it was only about 4 or 5 reps, and then he'd come in, and then he went out. It was just like I think it was like a favour to me to put me in a way, because I've been ill in hospital. I'd come out, and they give me helped me sort of recover a bit doing these 4 or 5 reps. But then it was finished. I forgot all about it. Didn't think I'd ever go back in again. And then in 96, they said they needed to bring the character back again. But I had to audition this time, because even though I'd played it before, because the nature of the part was a heroin addict. So it was a lot more intense than earlier, and a lot of hard scenes. So they wanted to get it right, they said. So I re-auditioned. Anyway, cut a long story short, I got it again. And that's how it happened. But it was a good 7 years till I went in and done that, you know.
So that had nothing to do with knowing Phil off the back of Grange Hill then? It was all pretty much off your own work getting back in it the second time?
The second time, yeah. They had a lot of people auditioning, and it was a big process again. Not as big, I don't know, as the Ziggy. It wasn't like 1,000 kids all jumping on each other, but there was certainly a lot of people going for it, and I had to really up my game on that one, you know. I went
turn up on time, get into the character.
It must have been a heavy role to play. That must have been quite demanding again, and you know,
it was draining. Towards the end, it was draining me a bit. I knew I was acting, and I knew it wasn't real. Okay, but some of the scenes I had to do, I had to cry. A lot of actors can cheat this. You can get a little stick and put it under their eye, and it makes tears. And they tried to offer me this stick during a scene when I was supposed to cry. And I said, no, I don't want it. I don't need it. I will cry. Don't worry about that. And I did. I went back to thinking about things, and I've made myself cry. But we had to do it over and over. And by the end of the day, you're going home and you're mentally a little bit drained, you know, because you're taking yourself back to things you. Go back to. But it was the only way I could get these tears.
Get the emotion out.
Yeah, that's it. It was the only way I could do it. Was to do this. And then there were scenes of overdosing as well, where you know I had to be overdosed and then eventually killed. You know. You know
what? My next question was about to be, so did you have fun filming? I don't want to answer that question. Let me throw that away now.
the thing is as I look at it like this in a way. Playing the Ziggy part was like a great laugh. That's all that was. It was great fun. It was a great laugh. And then it was good to have the contrast of the Brookside where it was dark. It was more intense acting. And I could show
you challenge yourself as an actor more, didn't you?
I could show off a bit what I could do.
as well, definitely.
And
you seem to have a great cast around you though on Brookie. So I can imagine you'd like Darren say still having probably a bit of a laugh on set. Jimmy was, he must have been quite a hoot, I would have thought, and a bit of a practical joke.
No, not really. He's not quite. It's not really like his character.
Wow,
He's not like Jimmy, really. I mean, a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't say he was like Jimmy. He a lot more sensible, like actor. Like very. Like an actor type, whereas I go in and out about and piss in the gardens, you know what I mean?
That's how I would have thought he would have been. I would have thought he would have been on such a level. You would have had quite a good laugh together, and both pissing gardens.
Jimmy Corkill was a character, though.
That's what I would have thought. Off camera, he would have been a great. He seems like it'd be a really great.
He's a bit quieter in real life. I found, but I wasn't in it really that long enough to create the kind of friendships that I formed in Grange Hill. I was 4 years in Grange Hill, whereas Brookside was only about 4 months. So there was nowhere near enough time to create that kind of friendships that I had in that, But I mean, I still got on with everyone. There was no Mr. Bronson type characters telling me off for being late, Just got on with it, and I was on time every day. I made sure I'd been made
late seats. That's it.
No, but it was only 5 minutes from the house, so I couldn't be late.
If they could bring back any of those two programs, which one would you think they should bring back out of Grange Hill and Brookside?
I think I'd always go. Grange Hill's always going to be in my heart more than any other show I've ever done. I think it'd be great to bring it back, but you'd have to have it like it how it was. You'd have to have it hard hitting. Right writers to do it and the right characters to play it, not half-wits. You've got to have it, like it was in a way. That's the way you can do it. You can try and modernise it and do it but I don't think it'd work. You've got to have it.
You can't make it like High School Musical, can you?
It's got to be hard hitting. It's got to touch on all the issues, social issues that are happening and everything.
Otherwise,
there's no point.
Yeah, you could do it, but it's got to be done right. It has to be done right with the right people. Let's shock everyone again and show people this is what's going on out there. Because that's what I'd done originally.
It did. It worked. Definitely worked big time.
So you mentioned a book.
I wrote it last year and finished it in November, and I got it released for December. So pretty quick. It was basically, it's called From Grange Hill to Bipolar and Back. I put the back in because I tried to show how you can get over it to some degree and how to deal with it, and not live, a dark or sheltered, anxious life, that you can overcome these problems. That's why I put I'm Back in. And it's basically my story of Grange Hill, about me going. Some of the tales I've told you are in it, of when I go to London and meet the guys and all the good times, all the partying. But then it ends, obviously, and that's when my problems really started. About 89. A lot of dark things happened, bad things. And eventually, in 1991, I ended up in a psychiatric hospital for 6 months. And they thought it was like a nervous breakdown, but unfortunately it wasn't. It turned out to be bipolar in the end.
Right.
Because I've ended up hospitalised 5 times. But every time I come out, I learn a bit more and I learn a bit more. And eventually, I've kept out now for about 7 or 8 years. I've not been back to hospital because I've stopped certain things in my life that I used to do. And I do things now instead. Which keeps me sort of knowing
Focus.
where I'm going.
Positive and focus.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So
So
I try to educate in a way some people in this book. You know, I'm not saying this is what you've got to do, but I'm just saying this is what I do, and it helps.
This is how you dealt with it.
Yeah.
So you can try it too, type thing.
Yeah. It's trial and error sometimes. That's how I found a lot of things. Some things I thought might didn't, and some did. Yeah. You can only learn yourself going through it.
Did it feel like therapy actually writing the book, like letting it out and talking about it?
At first, I was like laughing to myself at all the old stories and stuff, you know. And then when I got to some of the darker things, I was kind of finding it hard to sleep. Thinking about it, going over it then, and it was playing on my mind a lot. So I left it for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then I went back to it when I felt ready again. So it was hard writing some of the dark stuff, because it is dark. I mean, it's not. I have been through a lot of dark moments, but as I say, I don't leave it on that note. You know, that's the end. It is always, you know, there's hope, and that's what
it's light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
You bounce back. You bounce back by the sound of it, definitely. Nothing lasts forever. You can beat it. You know, no matter what pain and how bad it is, you can always come back. Yeah. You just got to find it within yourself, and you know, be positive. Really, you know.
That's it.
So that's your first. Do you have another book, or is it just that book?
I'm sort of working on a second book now. Yeah, this is a lot more difficult. It's nothing to do with the bipolar, or mental illness or anything. This is purely a sort of Grange Hill related book, where I've been watching. This is why I've been watching it from beginning to end, because I'm watching every storyline. I'm watching every character that come in. I'm making notes, and I'm doing series 1, series 2, season 3 until I come into it, and I'll talk about when I come into it. So I'm doing history of it. Plus, I'm usually like this because I'm filling in the beginning of the chapters with what was going on in, say, 1978, 79, 1980. So you might have like the miners' strike, or like the auction. Or Pac-Man came out. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah.
Anything that was going on in that year, I'm tying in with each chapter of.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, for a reference to each time. Yeah.
And so it's all very vintage, and I'll get to my bit, and then my final bit is I've been getting off all the cast their testimonies. So the final chapter will be all of their favourite moments and how they got the part.
Oh, nice.
You know, what they've done since. So you've got to get the full, because there isn't one there. It's going to be the complete sort of book about the show, you know.
Oh, excellent.
That sounds good.
Look out for that. It does sound good when I'm watching. Look at that.
Yeah. That's what I've been doing. My missus is absolutely sick of hearing the Grange Hill theme tune.
Everyone loves a Grange Hill theme tune.
Chicken Man done the theme tune. Yeah, a guy called Chicken Man. Yeah.
Wow.
Or the song's called Chicken Man. It's something to do with Chicken Man. Yeah.
Hey, that just come out of nowhere. There's no song that sounds like that I've ever heard an instrument like that.
I don't know what instrument.
It sounds like Rhubarb and Custard produced it.
Yes,
it does. It does.
It's like squiggly BBC characters produced that. You know, Morph was involved. It just sounds so BBC. Like,
is the book out? You know, normal places, Amazon, bookshops, and
the original book. From Grange Hill to Bipolar is on Amazon, but what I also do, this is getting back to the character in Grange Hill, I also sell them and sign them and send them out to people if they want one via Facebook private messenger.
Okay, so any of our listeners interested, contact you through Facebook?
Yeah, just private message me, George Wilson, and just PayPal me, and I'll send it to them signed. And I've also got pictures. I've also got signed pictures as well. I can throw in as well.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we enjoyed talking to you, mate.
Been wicked.
It's been great.
Been cool.
Great stories there, man.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Listen, take care. Yeah, you all take care.
You too.
Speak to you soon.
You'll never walk alone.
You know it.
You understand? All right, I'm Mr. Lucas.
And Chris.
I'm Stats.
Peace, people.
Lay out here.
Peace.
Those were the days I remember.